Hello YouTube. So, as you can tell, my bad weather has now ceased. That's the reason why I couldn't get out this video last week, is because my weather was horrible. But hey, I'm getting out now. So, in this episode of Tron Uprising, we pretty much have Lord of the Rings. Except without the wars going on or anything like that. So this episode actually does feel a whole lot like Lord of the Rings to me, or at least the thing with the ring. That's what it feels like, a whole lot. So in this episode, Beck has now found out about this disc, which is pretty much like a steroid. It can increase physical strength, but it also has some pretty negative side effects. And this is about to go into the hands of Tesla, so he's going to try and obtain the disc and destroy it. But then then the scientist that he's trying to steal this from, puts it on his back, and we see some of the side effects. It's pretty much an addiction. The longer that you wear it, the more you want to use it. So yeah, I don't expect anything to go wrong with this. And of course, now Beck is actually going to go and destroy it. At least he's not tempted to use it. But then he falls into a trap, and now there were like 10 whole guys. He can't take them out on his own, so now he needs the help of the disc. Because they just wanted a way to get the disc on him. So now he has the disc on him, and tell me if he doesn't look criminally insane in this bit. Yeah, he looks like he's gonna be just fine. So now the effects of the disc extension start to take their toll on him with the worst thing possible. Him starting to be slightly a jerk. Brace yourselves. He's mildly rude. The worst thing that can come out of this. So, but nothing is more prominent in this episode for him being mildly rude than when he is trying to help Zeb and Mara, and really their only point in this episode. And which is kind of just being there for conflict. And when Zeb is getting picked on by those two programs that were trying to get him to join his anti-renegade task force set by Paige, and I guess they're still the only two programs in that thing. I guess no one else cared to join, because they don't seem to have anyone else coming around with them. It's just them, for some reason. Could have sworn that more people didn't like the Renegade, but I guess not. But now, Zeb, Beck, of course, takes them off of Zeb. They go away because they're terrible at their job, I guess, and are very easy to be picked on. So now Beck just says, hey, be a bit tougher to, to Zeb, but he says it really rude. So now he's truly evil. There's no going back on it now. But probably the best scene out of this whole episode is when Tron starts to take notice of the effects that the disc is having on him. And he just says, okay, well, why don't I just take it to the garage where there's this machine for them to destroy it in, and which was the place that he was going to when he had to put on the disc. Tron's basically saying, okay, why don't I just go there undercover, and then I'll just put it in the machine, and then it'll be destroyed, okay? But, of course, this doesn't go well. But eventually, right when Beck's about ready to kill Tron, geez, this got dark, then he notices, oh, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be doing this. Maybe it's the disc. No, wait, yeah, it is. Okay. So now he, so now he's going back to the garage, not wearing the disc anymore, and is just about to throw it in to the destruction machine of Mordor, I guess. And then Pavel comes out. I think that was his name. Um, but if it is, then I finally got his name. You know that annoying Kiki guy? Yeah. Who works with Tesla? Yeah, him. I think I finally got his name. Um, but then, of course, he starts coming out and puts the disc on himself and also has everyone at the garage held hostage on the side because those two jerks came back. They wanted to do that because they were picked on. Sounds reasonable. Keep everyone hostage because we were picked on. This is a good plan. No, it's not. So, Pavel puts the disc on himself, and of course, the same sort of things happen to him. But then eventually, Beck does get the better of him and gets the disc onto the machine and destroys it by just cutting it in half. It's, it's gone forever now. No one can fix that. So now, thinking that it's all over, he goes and saves the hostages and isn't a jerk anymore. He pretty much makes up with his friends. Yay! But then at the end, we get to see that the disc isn't destroyed and apparently can fix itself. This will not come into play for now. I don't even remember if it does come into play. Like, I don't remember if this thing even goes anywhere at all. But, so I really do enjoy this episode, but it does feel a whole lot like Lord of the Rings to me. I don't know, maybe that's just because Elijah Wood is in both, and he's the same, and he voices the main character on the show who also gets addicted to something like that, just like how he does in Lord, just like how he plays Frodo in Lord of the Rings. So I don't know, maybe that's why I keep on thinking back to Lord of the Rings in this episode, but I really do think back to it a lot. And that's not bad, actually. In fact, it's really cool. And I gotta say, I kind of like the ending on this one better. Now, okay, I'm guessing that you guys are pretty annoyed about that if you like Lord of the Rings, which a lot of people do. And I'm not gonna lie, I like Lord of the Rings. Two Towers, I love the Two Towers. I have the little ring. I made it for myself. It's this little golden ring that I have on here. So, I like the movie. It's just, I didn't feel satisfied with the ending. Because Frodo just seemed like a whiny little kid at the end. Like, oh no, you can't put, oh no, you won't put this ring in here, it's mine now, nothing bad can happen to me at all. Oh wait, no, something bad happened to me, oh dang it. And he just never comes to terms with it. It just sort of seems like a little bit too forgiving to me, too. But here, we're at least, I at least feel more for Beck. Even though we haven't seen as much as Beck as we do as Frodo, it still is done really well here. I like the way that they handle it. It's done much better here. Instead of just making him invisible, which I never really got was a helpful advantage. I mean, okay, it's a good tool if you want to, if you're a thief or something, but it's not really that helpful in other terms. This one at least does help. It makes you physically stronger. And since he's a renegade and is trying to fight Tesla, that would be very helpful. So it makes sense why he would be more addicted to it. Because he could also see this as something that could really help him. So it makes a lot of sense. Oh, and speaking of fighting Tesla, he does that in this episode. Yep. You know how Tesla has those weird arm things like Mrs. Elastigirl and everything? Yeah. He goes fighting him because he has the disc. Just another sign of the negative effects of the disc. But then Abel comes in and then he realizes, oh hey, this is a stupid idea. I'm gonna go now and just leave you alone. Because you can get in trouble, I don't know, disc extension. So, I really do like what they did with this episode. Now the next few episodes I don't really like as much, but this one is still really good and very strong. I do like what they do with this idea, and when I rewatched this episode, I had to go and watch it again after it because I just like what they did with the idea. It is a very well done way of doing it, and I actually did feel more satisfied than I did after watching 9 hours of film. So that's something. Um, and the way that this addiction is done, I really like it. It seems very natural, and it also seems very interesting. So, this is definitely an episode I recommend. So, see if you can find it and go check it out for yourself. Bye.